Hi, Nicole. I'm just waiting for a couple more people to pop up, and then we're gonna get started. Let me think. Okay, no, I don't see it. That's fine. All right, so how are you doing? You were up early today. Yeah, I wake up pretty early every day. I'm usually up by like 6 a.m. Yep, that's my wake up time. 6 a.m. every morning. No, not Saturday and Sunday, but during the week, 6 a.m. Okay, so today, let me grab the application. We're going to be doing an application or completing an application from the American Heart Association. So if you are in the community, I'm not a morning person either, but my daughter kind of forced me to because we have to wake up to bring her to school. So she kind of forced me to become a morning person, unfortunately. But before that, I wasn't up before noon, really, before her. So, but having kids will change your whole life, for real. All right, so today we are doing a training from the grant. Well, no, it's not the grant opportunity list. This is one that Dr. AJ gave us. Dr. AJ is one of our community members. She's also a coach. She's a coach, and she's a religious coach, and she teaches other women how to become certified coaches as well. So if you guys are in that field or in that space and you guys want to communicate with her, like make a connection, link up, do some sort of like industry related or congruent type of work, I think that's somebody really good to speak to. She's done really great work. And she's won actually a couple of grants for her business as well. So good person to just connect with, because winners connect with winners, right? We're winners. We talk to other winners who have done something similar or want to do something similar to us. So she's a very active member in the community. That's where the list is now housed. So if you've been looking for the list on the link in my bio, it's not there anymore. It's going to be in the community, all right? So once you log in, you're going to see a bunch of threads, and then updated list is where you would have saw that opportunity. And this is the one that's a business accelerator for, or with the American Heart Association. And again, Dr. AJ was the one who shared that resource with us. All right. So now let's look through the qualifications, not to disqualify ourselves, because we just want to understand how to frame things. So Jolena, another one of our sisters in funding, she was the one that actually encouraged us. Good morning, dear. She was the one that actually encouraged us to do this application, because I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't really thinking about it, but she's like, where's your audacity? And I'm just like, you right. So because it's related to the health field, I'm going to personally use ChatGPT, right? Based on the things that we know and how we're going to fill out this application. And we're going to ask ChatGPT to kind of give us an angle where we can apply to this grant and position our business in a way that might allow us to still fall within the parameters of what they're looking for as far as the health field is concerned, because this is a grant or this is a business accelerator. No problem. Stick around. You'll be happy you stayed here. Okay. So, this is an accelerator that is tied to $75,000 in funding. Okay. So they're saying that the accelerator participants will get access to high quality training to help refine their business model, work on building their brand story, and make connections to like-minded, health-focused entrepreneurs, okay? Emphasis on the health focus because not all of us might be health focused, but again, that's what we're going to use ChatGPT to do, right? So, okay, participants will emerge with a toolkit of skills they can apply to grow and scale the health impact of their business, okay? Have access to $75,000 in funding, as well as be part of the American Health Association network. So, I want to just clarify something, because when I talk about wins and we talk about accelerators, people are just like, no, I just want money. But we have to really frame our minds around the winning aspect, right? Accelerators are a really big win because let me just give you an example. There was a young lady that I'm actually in an accelerator with, right? She was a part of another accelerator. They helped her with positioning her business to get credentialed, right? So like she has an education program. They helped her, give her the resources that she needed for accrediting her education platform. All right. Also, they positioned her to win government contracts. Okay. They also positioned her to get certified as a WBE, MBE, or minority owned business, whatever the certification titles are. You get what I'm saying? The different like credentialing that you can get for government contracts, so you don't even you either don't have to bid, or you can apply for the set-asides that are outlined by the government. So accelerators, even if you do not win the funding, all right, it's not all about the money. Sometimes it's the positioning that you're going to be in. All right. Sometimes it's a matter of what you're able to get out of them to position your business and leverage your business that helps you as much as the funding would have, right? Because let's say she does not win $1 from that accelerator. She's positioned to make money either way. Her educational platform is accredited, which is, accreditation is not easy. That accreditation means that you have a board of people reviewing your educational courses, platform, and creating a standard around that, right? So accreditation, she has certification, and she has other resources that she can walk away with. Same thing for Jolena. We're very familiar with Jolena because she's one of the grant winners that we've spoken about here on this platform several times. Her being part of an accelerator puts her in rooms where she can get her products in Walmart, Target, all these big box stores, not because it's guaranteed to her, but she can get into rooms that some of us would never be able to get into because she's been part of that accelerator. You understand? They've considered her an emerging young entrepreneur. That's a title that she can leverage. All right. So when you look at these accelerators, think of it that way. Like, what can I really walk away from this experience with? Don't just look at the funding, because sometimes you might end up with way more value, dollar value, in the resources, education, network, people that you meet than the actual money. All right. And if we always tie our outcomes to a dollar bill, we are going to miss so many opportunities. Okay. So let's look at these accelerators. Hi, Sharita. Thank you for putting that into perspective. No problem. So let's look at these opportunities as a means to an end as much as they are an opportunity for funding. Now, granted, I'm not telling you just to go into these opportunities just to network and meet people. I'm saying to do the but then also position yourself to win, of course, right? But the thing is, like, let's say you get accepted into 3 accelerators this month, all right? They're all very similar. They're mostly similar, right? Depending on the accelerator, the cohort, whatever they're teaching. There is a possibility that you'll learn different things that you didn't know before, all right? So that's one thing. So just pay attention, engage for the sake of that alone, right? But also, if you've done 1 accelerator, 2 accelerators, and you're about to go into your 3rd accelerator, you already have the background information to zoom through that thing and continue to refine your processes. So it doesn't hurt to join them, okay? Because if they're asking you questions, they want you to do a workbook, they're asking you about your target audience, they're asking you about this, they're asking you about that. You've already done that stuff twice, right? If you've done my training, that would have been 3 times, right? So you've already been positioned, refined, you get more resources, more connections. And if you already did those things, you could just plug in those answers and really concert your effort to building those networks, right? So you see where I'm going with that? So don't be discouraged by only having access to accelerators, because there's people in there you want to rub shoulders with, all right? I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. So, okay, with that being said, we're going to, before we even really start this application, I told you, we're going to go into ChatGPT and ask it. I'm going to see what it comes up with. I'm not really 100% yet dedicated to this application. I'm just kind of entertaining it because Jolena really did push for us to do it. Assuming this is something that we could possibly position ourselves for. Dr. AJ mentioned that it's very involved, so we'll see, right? All right, accelerated participants will get high quality training, refine their business models, they'll get toolkits, grow and scale the health impact of the business, have access to $75,000 in funding, as well as be a part of the network. All right, so who they're looking for, the Empowered to Serve Business Accelerator. So first of all, service is a keyword, health is another keyword that they're mentioning, right? Is looking for a diverse pool of entrepreneurs, companies, and organizations who are driving change and health equality, another keyword, in their communities. Community is another keyword, right? So applications will be accepted from social and digital health tech entrepreneurs, okay? Nonprofits and for-profits making a health impact and addressing a social detriment of health. All right, so let's see what they consider a social detriment of health. And they've abbreviated to SDOH. So just in case we see that through the application, that's what that's referring to. This accelerator is receiving 6 weeks of training to grow and scale their business, refine their business's story and presentation in a cohort with other entrepreneurs, share their business story with health community and business leaders, receiving a $500 grant. So everyone walks away with $500 and a chance to win up to $75,000 in grant funding for the top candidates. Okay. So candidates lets me know that there's probably going to be more than one winner, which I like, honestly. All right. This application closes in 10 days. Okay. And the top candidates will be notified next month, just about a month from the application date. Training starts the day after through September, and then the finale is October, okay? U.S. citizen over 18, address one or more categories of the social detriments of health in the United States. Innovation must apply to improving health inequalities, must be the founder, CEO, or someone authorized to make changes to the business or project. All right. There's a video on here that's kind of like an info session. I would recommend watching that. So these two businesses, so one is, so the 2022 recipients, it looks like there were about 2 of them. There was one for the first place winner won $55,000 total, and then the second one $25,000. So I'm guessing they're totaling the $75,000, right? Kanisha and then another lady named Dr. Jinga Oglesby Brigham. Let's see what this company is about. And the reason why I want to see that is because Air Bloom Co. doesn't sound like it's health related, but I could be wrong, right? So her company is about, okay, it is. So hers is a digital platform connecting healthcare professionals with expectant and postnatal mothers to improve birth experience and reduce maternal mortality rates. Okay. So that's what her platform is about. And then this other person was Empower Healthcare, and this her platform was about it was a nonprofit service-based healthcare clinic that was committed to strengthening the communities of the Western Glades area of Palm Beach County, Florida, by increasing access to healthcare regardless of ability to pay, which is interesting. All right, so let me look at some of the other ones. It was a biomarker smartphone app. Other finalists were, okay. Another finalist was someone that properly managed virtually zero waste sustainable hubs in overlooked or underserved areas. All right, so that's not necessarily health, but it does have to do with community. Good afternoon. Hi. So this one was a brain health mission. Okay, so that's more like health related. And then there's another one. This lady named Jamie, she did a big fresh market box. She was a finalist from San Antonio, Texas. Okay. She was talking about delivering fresh fruits and vegetables to underserved populations. All right. So every one of them is not super health focused. So I would say don't let that discourage you from applying if you want to try to dedicate some time, if you have some time to dedicate to this application. But I want to say a lot of them are this one's a medical technology, other one is like medical data, another one is like healthcare that provides access to COVID-19 testing. And then there's one that was a dance for healing, right? It's called Slay, which I think is cute. But, and then this one is like one about screening wellness. So you guys get the point. I'm not going to drag this, but yeah, you guys get the point. So if you guys want to apply, then I would say shoot your shot. I'm going to go ahead now and create a prompt in ChatGPT that will use the link from the application. And hi, Dr. AJ, we were just talking about you. I don't know if you were here when we were. So I am going to use ChatGPT. And I'm going to use the link reader plugin. All right. Always use the Prompt Perfect plugin, but I'm going to switch off to the link reader one. And I'm going to put the link in. And then I'm going to create a very detailed prompt. So it tells me how I can kind of finesse this application to make my project relevant to what they're looking for. I'm not switching my entire business model. I'm not going to create a brand new proposal or application. What y'all say about me? We said that you are a wonderful Black woman, wonderful Black queen that people need to connect with in the community, and that you gave us this opportunity, and that you let us know that it was long, so we should guard our loins if we're going to apply to this one. And I also let them know that what you do, so that if they were interested in connecting with someone that was congruent, then yeah, all good things. So yeah, so this is what I'm going to do with ChatGPT now. So I'm going to just go ahead and create a prompt and see how it's going to spit out an answer to say, hey, this is a link to a grant application. I'm just going to go ahead and write the prompt. All right, this is a link to an application I am interested in applying to. So who has a business that doesn't seem relevant to healthcare, but we're looking for a way to an angle to kind of approach this to see if we could win? Because I can do this later on my own. So I'm just going to see if anyone wants to take advantage. Okay, sure. I'm interested in applying to, and I am in the diversity and inclusion space. Okay. This application is related to healthcare. I am looking for an angle I can use to increase my chances of becoming a finalist or winning this grant. What additional, is there any additional information you might need to refine this process? Okay. Okay. So I'm just waiting for it to finish generating its output, and I'll read it off. It's just right now it's just summarizing what's on the link. Okay, so now it's starting to give me an answer for Sharita. Okay. So I think we might need to give it more context. So it says, given your interest in the diversity and inclusion space and healthcare, you might want to consider the following angles to increase your chances of becoming a finalist or winning this grant. It says point 1 is addressing health disparities. Propose a solution that addresses a specific health disparity in a marginalized or underserved community. This could be related to access to healthcare, quality healthcare, or specific health outcomes. Innovative use of technology. Many of the finalists use technology in innovative ways to improve health outcomes. Consider how you might leverage technology to improve healthcare in diversity and inclusion space. Community impact. The program seems to value solutions that have a significant impact on communities. Be sure to emphasize the potential community impact of your solution. Give me 1 second. I need to write something down before I forget. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So also it says scalability. Consider how your solution can be scaled to have a broader impact. This could make your application more appealing to the judges. Some finalists partner with other organizations to increase their impact. Consider whether there are organizations you could partner with or enhance your solutions. I don't necessarily like these answers, but because Dr. AJ made a good point yesterday that she likes to apply to certain certain health related grants, because it could be considered, her line of work could be considered like mental health. So I think I'm going to apply that same. This is I don't think I told you guys, I'm sorry. This is the EmPOWERED to Serve Business Accelerator. Okay. EmPOWERED to Serve Business Accelerator. Yeah. And this is through the American Heart Association. So the reason why I don't necessarily like these answers is because I think there's not very much of an emphasis on the healthcare piece as far as Sharita is concerned. So I think I'm going to ask ChatGPT about use Dr. AJ's model and kind of ask about psychologically safe workplaces, because that's something that you mention a lot, right? So I'm going to say, I make mention of maintaining psychologically safe workplaces and I could address this. And you've mentioned also, Sharita, like reaching out to like clinicians who are friends who are clinicians, right? So I would also kind of probably integrate that in some way as well. So I could address this from a mental health / corporate, no, mental health perspective. Given this information, what would be an appropriate angle to applying for this grant? Is that fair, Sharita? Okay. So let's go ahead and wait for this to do its thing. Yeah, this is way better. Given the context of the psychologically safe workplace, and yeah, way better. Even like they're just down to the first suggestion. Okay, so now it says mental health in the workplace. Propose a program or initiative that promotes mental health in the workplace, and I think that is one of the elements of your business, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was right, but you could correct me if I'm wrong. It says this could involve training for managers and employees, mental health resources, or initiatives to reduce stress and burnout. Highlight how this could improve overall health outcomes and productivity. So if that could be your angle for this application. Well, there you go. That could be your angle. And then it says tech-enabled mental health support. So consider a proposal that leverages technology to provide mental health support in the workplace. This could be a digital platform for mental health resources, an app for stress management, or teletherapy services for employees. So that could also be an angle. And I think you did say it was like tech enabled. So there you go. You can actually address it from that point as well. Maybe if it was like the course or the training, you could mention that, right? So it says address the intersection of diversity, inclusion, and mental health. Propose initiatives that specify support the mental health of marginalized or underrepresented groups in the workplace. I love that one, right? So that also would be important because you're just going to have to really put more emphasis on the mental health dynamics of the employees versus like the DEI need for the corporations, if that makes sense. So I think you don't have to shift anything really. You just have to you do have to shift the focus because when we've had conversations in the past, it's been more on like the stakeholders, HR manager and like the ERG individual who'd be doing the actual trainings. But I think now for this application, if you do intend on doing this, you'd have to shift the narrative and make the focus the outcomes, the mental health outcomes for the employees who would be taking your training or who would be benefiting from an ERG program being incorporated in these workplaces. Does that make sense? All right. So yeah, I think you're good in good company. This is actually very helpful. So yeah, with some good context, ChatGPT saves the day again. All right. Anyone else want to do this exercise before we start the application? I think I'm actually just going to keep ChatGPT up because I'm not like doing it yet for myself. So I'm going to have to use this for a lot of context because I don't know what's going on right now with this application. But does anyone else want to do that practice? Like where we just kind of take your business idea and try to see how we can align it with some health element or perspective that might serve the outcomes that we're trying to meet here with the application. So let's see. Let me go back real quick because it did show a couple of things. So like, does your solution impact one of these areas? Education, healthcare access, food security, neighborhood conditions, transportation. environmental quality, employment, economic stability. So, Sharita, that could be a highlight point for you too. Employment and economic stability, right? I would probably put some focus on that. So maybe do a little bit of research for the employee side, housing, and then health, innovation, and technology. So yeah. All right. Does anybody else want to do this real quick with ChatGPT? Housing. Okay, what about housing? Like, what's your project? What's your business? I could do Sharita pretty easily because I'm kind of familiar with her project, but you're gonna have to give me more context to make this work make sense for ChatGPT. You're gonna have to give me more details. Housing for who? Homeless, women, domestic violence. Like, who are you serving? Alternative ways to secure housing, financially challenged. Okay, let's see. I'm in the business of creating alternative ways to secure housing for those who are financially challenged without leveraging their credit. Focusing on strengths. Could you give me more detail into that? What does that mean? Paying rent on time, utilities, car notes. Okay. So I'm just gonna put without over leveraging their credit if they do not have strong credit scores. But demonstrate an ability to make positive payment by other means. Does that sound right? Okay. Okay, strong credit profiles. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through ChatGPT real quick. Let's see what happens. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Let's see what it spits out first. Excuse me. Okay. So this is actually really good too. So ChatGPT says, given your business is focused on creating alternative ways to secure housing for financially challenged individuals, you might consider framing your application around the concept of social detriment to health. This is a term used in public health to refer to the conditions in which people are born, grow, live, work, and age, including the health system. These circumstances are shaped by the distribution of money, power, and resources at global, national, and local levels. Housing is a significant social detriment to health, and your work to secure stable housing for individuals could be framed as a health intervention. Great idea. You could discuss how stable, affordable housing reduces stress and provides a platform for overall health. You could also talk about how your business model, which allows individuals to make positive payments without strong credit profiles, could help reduce health disparities by providing more equitable access to housing. In addition, you might want to consider partnering with a healthcare organization or professional who can provide data or testimonials about the health impacts of housing insecurity. This could strengthen your application by providing concrete evidence of the problem your business is trying to solve. Yeah, no problem. So I think these are all good ideas. And like we've talked about, right? Yeah. So we talked about before adding like a, what is it called? I don't know why I'm running blanks all week. Like my mind is just going blank. What is the name of that thing? A letter of recommendation, essentially, to the end of your proposals or application. They do help a lot. So if you have a business, like a healthcare business that does have this kind of information and they're able to co-sign for you, that really does help. So this is a really good suggestion via ChatGPT. That's a great way to bolster your proposal and how this will work. I don't know if that aligns with your business. Again, I don't know really how your business works, but if this does make sense and you can find data to support this, or if you already have data to support this, then that would be a good angle to approach. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start the actual application. Dr. AJ said that it was intense. I don't really know how to quantify that, but if we find that it's very long, then we can just kind of continue it into maybe tomorrow. We got a couple of days to finish this, so we should be fine. Okay. So apply now. All right, so first part. Oh, well, it's not too long. I think we might be able to do it today. All right, so it's asking for your name, your email. Of course, always put your work-related email, like your business-related email. So your name or info, whatever, with the company, your company's handle. You need a mental health week. Girl, if you are willing to pay for it, I'm going to take it. All right. Phone number should be the business number. All right. So this could be your 888 number or maybe a direct line or something. All right. So I'm applying as is one of the questions, and it's asking you if you're applying as an individual with an idea. So it's accepting idea phase participants. And then nonprofit company or organization, for-profit company. So it's asking you the nature of your business. Next is, what is the name of your organization or business? And then the next question is, what is the name of the program or project you are submitting to the accelerator? All right. For anyone who might be here for the first time, there was a mention of someone that was here for the first time. So I just want to make this note for them. When you look for grant funding, it is typically to fund a project or an initiative that you are trying to develop or trying to grow, scale, or whatever. So typically we have names for these things, right? Today I'm going to actually launch it later on today in the community for the community members first. But if you're in there, you'll get access to it first and you'll get a really deep discount. But for those who are going to be getting the training at a later date, you'll see how when you build out your proposal, and even throughout the proposal, you're going to be mentioning the name of your program or project, because that's what they're funding, a specific thing, right? They're not funding your entire business. They're not just trying to give you money for the sake of giving you money. They want to know what you're trying to do, and you need to name it. All right. Give it a life, give it a name, give it a heartbeat. Okay. So choose one program that you would like to focus on the training and grant dollars towards. There you go. If you have a large organization, choose one program that you would like to focus the training and grant dollars towards. So for example, if it was 3 different projects, they just want you to choose one project. Or if you had 3 different initiatives, they're asking you which one is related to the one that you want. All right. What do you or your organization do? Now, when you're answering this question, it's really important to place a really large emphasis on making sure that you're talking about the outcomes that your business produces, what you actually sell, right? Or what your product does. Talk about the features, talk about the benefits. Don't necessarily just say we're in this industry or that industry. You really want to place emphasis on the problems that you're solving for whoever it is that you're solving it for. So for example, if we are in the marketing space, I always just use the marketing example because it's easy. You're not selling marketing services, you're selling visibility, right? You're selling attention. So when you're talking about what you do, you want to talk about it from the sense that I create visibility and traction for minority-owned businesses, if that's the line of business or that's a service that you provide. All right. So when it says, what do you or your organization do? When it's talking about you in that sense, you want to talk about your contribution to the company and the kind of how it relates to the outcomes that you're producing for it. So for example, if you are the CEO, you'd be doing executive things, right? If you're the CFO, you'd be doing financial things. So maybe you oversee funding, maybe you oversee executive financial functions. That could be something that you are part of the organization that is a life force to making sure that the organization continues to run, especially from a marketing perspective, because a lot of those outcomes are measurable. So you can talk about how that relates. Does that make sense? And would you guys like another example? Okay. So does your organization serve communities in the United States? Yes. What cities or states does your program or project impact? So you can talk about those. If it's not state or city specific, then you can just put that we're in a national program and we don't have a specific catchment. That's what it would be called. A catchment is like a specific concentrated area. All right. Where is your headquarters or main office located? So this is typically, it doesn't have to be, but typically wherever you were incorporated or wherever you are operating your business, all right? What is your business model? So we've talked about this before, but business model could be a couple different things. It could be, mostly it's going to probably be like who you serve and how you serve them. So are you business to business? Are you business to consumer? Are you business to consumer? Are you e-com? Are you in the retail space? Are you in the wholesale space? Like how does your business serve and how is it generating money? Is it generating money by serving other businesses? So I'm a business to another business, that kind of thing, right? So you're going to just talk about which model that you're a part of. If you're not sure, then this would be a good opportunity to ask, all right? How does your program or project currently help improve the health of communities in which it reaches? Okay. So this is where it's going to kind of get tricky, especially if you don't have a really health aligned business, that you're going to be answering these questions with the kind of the perspective shift that we were talking about. So for Sharita's example, how does your project or program currently help improve the health of communities in which it reaches? You would talk about the psychologically safe places. You would talk about the outcomes of your program for individuals who are part of the program. So like the employees report that they are happier at work. There's less burnout. There's less stress. There's, this is the people, there's less turnover in the workplaces. They're more likely to stay. That impact, because remember, we've talked about, we talked about impact before, but you can also do a TOC for the employee side of things, right? That might actually be a good exercise for you too, Sharita. So, because when you're talking about improving, it's a very vague and nuanced question, but in order to make that measurable, you want to talk about like the before and afters. So how are you currently helping to improve the communities? What are they not experiencing right now? Like how are they not experiencing psychologically safe workplaces, right? And then once you implement your program or project, now what is the turnaround for them? That's how you're gonna do maybe more of like a compare and contrast kind of thing. but the outcomes are always going to be highlighted. This is what we do. So I would highlight those things first and then talk about the other things after. Like before this ERG program is implemented in these corporations, employees report, and then just the complete opposite of everything you listed before. All right. So that's an improvement. And then if you can also find a way or find data to support how when employees are happy in the workplace, that has a net impact on their outside world, that would be great too. If you can find that data. I know we were talking about how like this industry or like this world is a little data starved. So if you can, that'd be great. If you can't, then that's fine. Right. Because mental health is a little tricky as far as measurements anyway. So I'll probably do some qualitative, read some qualitative studies or something. All right. Any more input on that question? Any questions, comments, concerns, input, or can we move on? I need some feedback, y'all. So far, so good. Move on. Okay. All right. All right. What makes you passionate about your submission and why you are personally committed to its success? Now, this question, honestly, like they're really mostly just asking you about why it is that you, how do I put this? Because the other question is kind of related to it. Like, how does your background or journey relate to your work? So I would kind of split it up between passion is what drives you, right? So what is the thing that's kind of keeping you moving forward, keeping you motivated, keeping you, and I would say commit, as far as like the word committed, I'd probably say like willing, because again, these are accelerators, these are things that are going to take time. And not only that, but you're going to be driving your efforts into your business, right? So committed is going to be a sense of like, why is it that you are making this effort or putting efforts towards this thing, not just for now, but also for the long haul, right? That's because they want to know how, if you are not just interested in your business, but you're committed to it, right? So for this answer, I would talk less about the background. If I was answering this and the background question wasn't here, I'll talk about the background. But for this, I'll probably do some kind of convergence between the mission and the vision, right? Because that's kind of what those two things are supposed to be. So talk about your mission, talk about your vision, and put them in this space. So maybe your mission is that you want to see, or your vision is that you want to see every corporation have an ERG program that's a psychologically safe workplace, right? That's the vision. Everyone wants to go to work and feel safe, like, right? Or maybe your mission is that in the next 5 years, you want to create a program that is scalable and easily implemented and inserted within within 200 Fortune 500 companies, right? I'm making stuff up. I'm just kind of going with it. But you want to put those two together, and why you're passionate about that is because you see the impact, right? Now you're gonna really have to dig into some more research here, but you see the impact that it has not only on the employee, for Sharita's example, or the consumer or whoever the end user is on your product or service, but because this is community-based, the net impact it has on the community as well, right? So vision, mission, and then passion is what happens when this thing doesn't exist. That's how to approach that. And then the background question now kind of will go into you can really drive your point about maybe what sparked this entire thing. For Sharita, it'd be her experience in a psychologically unsafe workplace, right? The impact that it had on her and maybe other people that she experienced too, or other people who experienced the same thing. I have a mission, but never wrote down a vision on it. Yeah, you should have both. Okay. So how does your background or journey relate to your work? Sharita, I would emphasize the fact that you have a business degree. Okay. So you understand inherently how businesses should work, right? From just it could even be a high level view. It doesn't need to be like, all the intricate little details, right? And then you were seeing gaps in those things. And because of that, you found yourself in a position where you wanted to create this opportunity, or you wanted to take advantage of this. Maybe you didn't create ERG, right? But you wanted to take an opportunity where, as a marginalized person, because I would emphasize the fact that you are part of a group that would be impacted by this. So as a marginalized person, you wanted to create spaces where other marginalized people could feel safe, right? So that would be your background, your journey, how this started, what happened, all right? That kind of like created this thing where you either saw a market opportunity, you seized one, or you created one. All right. Are we good on that? Okay, perfect. So, okay, good. So what makes you believe you'll be successful? Now, this question is a trap, okay? Because there's no guarantees that anyone is going to be successful at anything, right? So what you can say is that if you had success in the past, you have to lean on that, all right? You have to lean on that. Any data that you can pull together to demonstrate that when you do A, B happens, that has to be your answer, okay? That you just need to pretty much scale this, all right? You've applied A and gotten B 10 times with success, or you've gotten it's A applied to B, A led to B 7 out of 10 times, so 70%, and that you want to use these funds to bring it closer to 100%, and that you have proof of viability. You have proof. Sorry, you have proof that this works. You have proof that this is something that's going to be successful. Lean on that. All right. If you do not, then you're going to have to use a lot of research. Do some market research about why this is a thing that could work, right? What other companies have done in the past. And I would probably even talk a little bit about the market. I would talk about the market growth too. Like I would make mention of how wide the market opportunity is in order to grow, and how even if you captured a little sliver of it, you'd still be successful. And success, again, this is why this is a trap, because success is very relative to who you're talking to, right? So in the case of business, success is usually measured by profit, usually measured by scalability, growth outcomes. So it doesn't specify what successful is. So you'd have to kind of also create that word, or create that definition for success, and then kind of go into why you believe that's going to be successful, or why you believe your project, initiative, or whatever it is going to be successful. And then always create a monetary outcome too, because this is business, right? So that's that. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm sorry to give such a vague answer, but it kind of is kind of a vague question. Unfortunately, it's not very easy to give specifics. And my phone's on the charger, but not charging. So that's good. That's just what I need right now. Let's see. Oh, not charging. All right. There you go. That's no bueno. I'm sorry, y'all. Quick intermission. All right. Let's see if it charges. All right. Anywho, okay. Any questions about that before we move forward? Because I feel like we're almost like just about halfway through. Yeah, just about. Any questions on that? Any comments? Anything you guys want to etch out or like make sense of? Good time to do that. Okay. So this next question, you know, I'm a numbers person. So I love this question every single time because it forces your hand in really making it tangible, right? It makes it real. So estimate the impact of your project using a combination of numbers and descriptors, right? So how many people, and these are examples. So these are not hard, fast rules about what to do. It's just examples of how you can quantify what the impact of your business is going to be, right? How many people it reaches, health impact data, amount of food rescued, those kind of things, right? So for example, it says combination. So it could be a number of things. So if I was a marketing company, I'm going to use quantify. There you go. That's it, Dr. AJ. You understand. Quantify. That's it. That's all you got to do. So if you're talking about impact, it needs to be something that you can demonstrate clearly will have this, and that. If this, then that. If this, then that, right? But numerically, all right? It has to have a weight to it. Okay, so with the marketing example that we always use, let's talk about the impact of marketing, right? So for example, let's say the impact of marketing being able to get in front of 100 businesses that might be, you might want to use different, you could talk about the different measurements that you're going to use, right? So that would be a descriptor. This measurement is the click-through rate. This measurement is conversion rate. This measurement is that, whatever the third, right? The way the numbers work is when you have a conversion rate, if you're marketing to 100 people, depending on the industry that you're in, depending on the type of product that you're selling, and a bunch of other things, the cost per click, right? If it's a CPP campaign, then that might also impact it, right? So you can talk about how maybe an industry standard is that the conversion rate is 0.5. Okay, so that means, or 1, for example. So that means that for every 10 people that you market to, 1 person buys. Okay, so the impact to that marketing campaign is that if you put in $10, you really spend $1, for every $10 you spend, you have to quantify how you are going to make another business $100, right? Because that's how marketing essentially works. How much does it cost to acquire this client? I have to get in front of 10 people to make 1 sale. How much does it cost to get in front of those 10 people? How much am I charging that 1 person to get that 1 sale, right? And then going from there. And then you can see how the impact of it is essentially the sale. How much did it cost to get that 1 person? How many people did I have to get in front of? Am I retargeting these people? All these different type of moving pieces, and those are going to be the descriptors. All right. The numbers are just going to be the information behind how you end up getting to that 1 sale, how profitable it was, and how you're able to essentially land that client. If this is a marketing example. So the outcome for the business that you'd be serving if you were a marketer is that they are able to make $100 for every $10 that they sell. So they have a 10% close rate, right? Or a 10% client acquisition cost for every 10% acquisition cost. Yeah, the acquisition costs are 10% of the money that they make. Or they spend. All right. So does that make sense? I gave you a more complex answer, but marketing is probably one of the easier ones to measure because there's so much data. But yeah, let me know if that makes sense or if I should give another example. No. All right. So I'm just going to move on. So what's new or interesting about what you're doing? This is going to be either your value proposition, your unique selling point, or if it's not new or interesting, I would emphasize that it's not new or interesting, right? It doesn't have to be. I would talk about that. It's not new, it's not interesting, but this is an existing problem that is longstanding. Still hasn't been addressed, and that maybe you want to take your opportunity to address it, or create new energy behind it. If you want to kind of insert the word new, or revitalize it, or however you want to kind of approach that. And I was just thinking about Sharita's example. Like, discrimination is not new. We've been dealing with discrimination forever, right? But so there's nothing new about the aspects of working with or protecting marginalized people, but maybe you want to put new energy behind it, or maybe you want to make it more accessible by creating a platform, or creating now having the tech-enabled aspect, right? So new is relative again, but if this is not something that's new or innovative in any way, I would say that you probably want to put a really big focus on the energy that you're putting behind it being new, because it's remained unaddressed. But if this is something that's new or interesting, I would talk about the features and what's different about it that other companies or other related industries are not doing, or not addressing, or not putting emphasis on. Okay. So that's pretty much that on that. And then the other question is, what health gap disparities are you addressing? There's a click drop down menu. If you are kind of like chat GPTing it up like we just did, there's an other option. All right. And then the other question is, what organizations are doing something similar? What new angle or extra support are you bringing to the issue? So this is where it's going to be important to understand who your direct and indirect competitors are. And what I noticed with this is there's no word counts. So go crazy, all right? Unless it tells you not to. But I would really put a lot of emphasis on this. So who are your direct competitors? Who are the people who are doing nearly, doesn't have to be point for point, but nearly point for point what you're doing that's very similar. So I own a nail salon. We do acrylics, we do gel, right? There's someone down the street from me that does acrylics and gel. That's my direct competitor. My indirect competitor would probably be Amazon, because this is someone, if they can't access me, where do they go? They go to Amazon and they DIY it, right? So who am I competing with in this space for getting nails on people? That's how I would look at that. And what new angle or extra support are you bringing to the issue would be your gained competitive advantage. Because remember, it's very difficult to move someone from something that they know, like, and trust to something that's new. Okay. If you're a Tide girly, you're probably not going to start using Gain all of a sudden out of nowhere for no reason, right? There's probably going to be something that compels you or drives you to Gain. They'll probably have a new technology, a new formula or something that they're promoting that is appealing to you as a consumer that you're going to move to. So what are you doing differently that is giving the consumer, your end user, something that either provides extra support or is something that your competition just is completely blind to. A SWOT analysis also would produce this, okay? And we've done SWOT analysis on ChatGPT before. So you can, if you've been hanging around, you can pretty much just use that framework, all right? Any questions on that? And my phone is charging, so we're good. Any questions? No, maybe yes. Give me an answer, y'all. I don't want to be talking to myself in this camera. Please. Anybody? No? Okay. So, next question. Do you understand, what do you understand about this project and community that others don't get, right? If you've surveyed other people in your community or the people that you serve or the end user, I would put information there, right, about that. So, okay, sorry. So, if you have any kind of insight information into what your community members or people in your target audience has given you, I would give that, all right, because it's coming directly from the horse's mouth and it's asking about understanding the project and the community, right? So that's firsthand information. You're good. You guys don't have to apologize. That's fine. So, or no apologies necessary. All right. So, do you understand about the project and community that other people don't get? So that would be one thing, right? So I would put it somewhat, say something along the lines of, what isn't widely accepted or understood about that this project solves and this community experiences that other people don't understand is, and then I'll put that in there. And then I would also talk about how these are firsthand accounts talking about that. All right. Per the community. We surveyed the community and they demonstrated that they wish that this was available and that was done and this and this and that. Right. So I'll talk about it from that sense. If you don't have that inside information, I'll probably look up some stuff, right, about what you're addressing and what is not widely known or accepted. All right. Or you could give your own insight. It really could be a matter of you giving your own insight about things that you wish people would understand about the community that you're serving, that because they don't understand will continue to impact them negatively, right? For example, we've talked about like someone that has a disability. We talked about that before. If you do not have a disability, you're not thinking about those things, right? When you walk into a space, you're not thinking about whether it's accessible or not because it's just not at the top of your mind. But someone else who is experiencing a disability of some sort, I'm sure if they're building a project or a product, one thing they will talk about other people not getting is the fact that they are not top of mind and that they have to create spaces now where being top of mind is important. Okay. And then the age-old question, if you were to receive the grant funding, what would you use it for? So you would break down your one-time startup cost, and your operational costs. Your standing operational costs, things that you need to run your business day to day. All right. And then the one-time startup costs are things that you have to pay for one time. And you need it to move this project along. So for example, it would be like a logo one time, a piece of machinery that would allow you to expand your inventory if you have a product one time, right? For the sake of that project. So I would talk about those things. If you want to take it a step further, I would also do a justification for those costs, right? So for example, for me, I have a justification for an encryption software, right? If I have a data breach, it's going to cost me more to deal with the data breach than not getting encryption software. Just pay for the encryption software, right? Or if, for example, last night we talked about trademarks, and Felicia, who is the attorney that we spoke with, gave a really great example. If you are dealing with trademarks, it's more costly to try to defend the fact that you own this business, you use this title, logo, whatever, than just getting the trademark, right? So those would be justifications for those costs. Talk about the need for it, and then talk about how it protects your business and protects your end user too, how it benefits the business and the use of the business in total. All right. Now, this one is asking for a video submission. It says it's optional, but it does influence their decision. So I would say go ahead and do it. It's 1 minute, right? It's introducing yourself and your team, or your team if you have one, right? And then a brief synopsis of your project. All right. They want you to put an unlisted YouTube video link. They're asking for your company website. It has to be valid. Please share your social media platform URLs and followers. You know how I feel about social media. That's all I'm going to say. What is your organization size? Does your organization have volunteer opportunities? You can put yes or no. And then if they do have volunteer opportunities, you can list what they are, right? Again, there's plenty of space, so I would probably put a little description about what the volunteers do and how they serve the consumer as well, right? Have you worked in any capacity with the American Heart Association or received prior funding from the AHA? If so, please describe. If that's relevant to you, then you can put that there. Does your concept submission have a patent? If it does not, put no. If it does, then put yes, right? Is your patent currently being challenged, or are you in current litigation with other organizations or entities? Yes or no. Then there's a box for terms and conditions, right? So I would say read through those because you don't want there to be some sneaky verbiage in there. Hold on a second. So you don't want there to be like some sneaky verbiage in there that says, if we accept you into this accelerator, then we own 5% of whatever you make for the rest of your life, right? So read that. How I feel about social media is that if you are going to share a social media handle with these organizations, make sure that it is clean, okay? Make sure that this is not a social media handle that is your business name, but you have personal stuff on there. I mentioned twerking on a handstand. That's your business. Do what you want, but they're going to be judging you on that, right? So twerk on a handstand on another page, but leave your business page for business content, all right? And if there's like intersected content, keep it, don't put it on there, all right? So that's how I feel about social media. But the only one I ever put is LinkedIn. So not my personal social media. Okay. Yeah. No. So no. Okay, good. LinkedIn, I always put LinkedIn because even if it's like one line and they don't specify LinkedIn, I always put LinkedIn because that's the one that's perceived as professional. Whatever. Right. All right. So then it's just asking for some like demographic stuff. Do you agree to the terms and conditions? Yes or no. The gender that you identify as, race that you identify as, ethnicity that you identify as. Would you like to be informed about EmPOWERED to serve opportunities available through the e-newsletter? Yes or no. How did you hear about this? We're going to put mental money. Twerk Life Matters. I cannot. Okay. If you would be so inclined to put Mental Money Podcast, I would appreciate it for how you heard about this application because it really does help, y'all. It really, really does. Like we have some amazing opportunities coming up because of that one little line. All right. Mama been working. So please put Mental Money Podcast if you feel inclined to do so. Otherwise, you're going to click submit and then your application is finito. All right. And I wish you all the best of luck with this accelerator. I think I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna do it. Why not? Right? Me and ChatGPT gonna have a blast trying to finesse this, but I think I'm gonna shoot my shot. We'll see. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns, twerks? What's up? Talk to me. The deadline's in 10 days, so the 26th of this month. So not this Monday coming up, but the next one. When is the application going to open up again? Which application are you referring to, Sharita? Today, actually. I'm putting that link in our group tonight. Yep. So all group members will have access to it tonight. You can look out for that announcement, and then everybody that's on the wait list will get second dibs, and then whatever spots are available. Okay, perfect. So wait list will get it on Saturday. Some point on Saturday. I know, Sharita, you've been on my case, girl. You and Jolena. And a little sprinkle of Dr. AJ. So, yeah, so community members always get everything first, right? People who are in the premium side of things, they get it first. Everybody else gets it second, but community overall gets it first, okay? Second is going to be a wait list, all right? They're going to get it the day after, and then whatever spots are available after is going to be general public email list. So yeah, that's all. But yeah, this is exciting. I'm really excited about this training because I know like literally yesterday I was talking about someone who had taken it. They're doing amazing work. I'm really happy about this stuff. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. I think you guys are going to love it. It's going to transform your business. I'm sure, Sharita, you've already gotten one of the templates. So we're going to expound on that a little bit, but you're going to have plenty of opportunities to do Q&As, right? So it's going to be split into, we're going to have 2 sessions a week. One is going to be didactic. The other one is going to be question and answer. So I'm making sure that you guys walk away with concrete confidence when you're approaching these applications, when you're approaching this entire process. Plus, if you're a part of the community, you still have access to me, right? We're still going to be going through grant applications together. So you'll just be applying that knowledge to these grant applications, right? This is for beginners. This is especially for beginners. If you have been, honestly, I would say probably anyone up to like the first 3 years of business, especially if you haven't been funded, okay? Beginners that are looking for funding that haven't been funded, you're going to learn a lot about actually positioning your business and talking about your business, right? Considerations that you need to make about your business. And then these accelerators and other things are going to teach you about like taxes. They're going to teach you about business. Well, we're going to learn about business credit because I can help you guys with that. But you guys in these accelerators, you're going to learn about taxes. You're going to learn about trademarks. You're going to learn about all these other things. I'm probably not going to teach you about those things. We can have other like expert-led sessions where we can build on that if we get to a place where we're stuck or we have questions. But these accelerators are going to expound on those pieces. My goal for you is to be able to walk away with a business plan, a pitch deck, and a proposal that you are confident with, answers that you can give confidently. You understand how you can tweak your answers for like an application like this, right? But this is going to be a function of being able to have a structure, a skeleton. And then we're going to learn how to make this process a lot more seamless. So you're going to get an answer bank, right? Question bank, all the questions that I could possibly ask. We're going to fill them in with formats, right? So when you're going through the grant process, go ahead and copy paste. It will exceptionally improve your productivity, right? We're going to hear from other winners because you know how that's important. The one girl that I interviewed, she was talking about strategy. She gave recommendation for books. She gave a lot of resources, a lot of answers that we're going to go over in the training. She actually implemented some of these things. She's done 10K in funding, right? And does a lot of other related work too because of those funding opportunities and finalist opportunities, accelerators, those kind of things. But you need to confidently walk into these spaces and understand who you are, who you serve at the minimum, and then have the resources, assets. So when these funders ask you for a business plan or pitch deck, you can upload those confidently, right? And we're prepared and we have everything we need to walk into this funding process ready to go. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Sound good? So with that said, I'm going to go get my life together so I can make sure I get that link to you tonight. All right. It's mostly done. I'm not the course, but like the actual like back end stuff, you know, like connecting pieces. Yes, because the work I'm putting, I understand, girl. And to be honest with you, it's gonna be work, but I believe in smart work, right? There's a prompt pack. I'm gonna actually show you how to set up prompts for some of these things. But we know we're smart people. We do not rely on ChatGPT for everything because ChatGPT is a language model that is pulling information from everywhere. It's not your IP. You can't just copy and paste stuff. It's not always telling the truth. I was actually going to do a video about that tomorrow because there's this lawyer that tried to use ChatGPT in case law and ended up getting a lot of trouble. Okay, a whole big thing. But I'm going to show you a prompt pack that's based on, you can structure it based on your inputs, your context, apply it, and then get good outputs because of it, right? I've given you the resources on ChatGPT on how to actually set this stuff up. So if you've taken that or you've seen that business development thing, and it's in that business development session, it's in the business development sessions, like lesson section, the courses section. Go back and watch it. Put those ChatGPT plugins in place because if you've already done that, you're prepared for the prompt pack, right? So if you've been rocking with me for a while, you're already kind of ahead of the game. We're just going to put more of these pieces together, give you the assets that you need, and be able to streamline this so that we can work smarter and faster and more efficiently, but it's still going to be work nonetheless. It is. And if you have the funds, or if you really do want to, make the investment in hiring a VA, I'm giving you the job descriptions, the competency things that you need to qualify them to do this, right? So, yeah. So, questions, comments, concerns? Yes, that's someone. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So there's ways to qualify them, make sure that they have all the resources that they need, the assets that they need, setting them up. They will have the grant question bank so that you and you would have to answer the questions, right? But I'm gonna show you how to pull that information from your proposal and restructure a couple of them so that you have those answers ready to go. So when they're answering those questions, you give them or they are in your catchment, or they're in your space where they can see the opportunity. They put together a Word doc or whatever, however you want to capture that information. And all you have to do is approve these answers before they go out, right? That's it. It's about setup. Just setup. Should walk you through my processes. That's it. So with that said, I think we're good on this application. I didn't have any other one. I just wanted to do this one just off the strength of Dr. AJ's like really doing it and putting some effort and energy behind it. And then also Jolena giving us that little push to do it. So that's all I have for you guys today. I'm going to keep working on plugging away at this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and the video finally uploaded to YouTube. So I'm going to put the PR training that we did yesterday in the community as well. So you'll get that in like a couple minutes. And then I'll keep plugging away so that you guys get that link tonight. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns before we go? I know, right? It's about time, Sharita. I know. It's about time. Yeah, I had to pull the trigger finally. It was time. Yeah. So ready. We'll see you guys. I'll see you guys later when I announce it. Bye. Have a good night.